Hello, my name is Tina Jones, the Empowerment Coach, and I'm here today with Phil, who is one of the sponsors for this year's Empower You New Consciousness Expo 13th Annual. So Phil and I met 3 years ago at my first expo, and now here we are 3 years later. You're one of the sponsors, and I'm the host and coordinator of this year's event. So Phil, tell us the name of your business and a little bit about what you do.
Okay, well, thanks, Tina, for providing this opportunity for many of us to connect in various ways. Visions Unlimited is a life coaching business that has one primary purpose in mind. It is to support people moving into a place of living a life they absolutely love, period. And I experienced moving from a place of desperation and living life from survival mode in a situation I was in where I'm going to avoid some of the story behind it, but let's just say I was 1 month away from being out on the street, not being able to pay rent because I moved to a state, Georgia, a few years back that had no work for me, and I moved there based on a relationship with a woman I met in India that lived there. So everything fell through, and I actually got desperate enough to attend this Prosperity Plus course that was offered at a spiritual center that just happened to open up a few blocks from where I moved into Atlanta, Georgia. And so I went in there, did this 3-month course, and halfway through the course, after only making maybe $500-600 a month, which for me was putting me into immense debt every month, I took home $10,000. And it got my attention, and it helped me realize that my thought patterns were coming from one of lack consciousness. So from then to now, I have moved into understanding the physics of manifestation and pretty much am free in all areas of my life. I'm flying out to Michigan to meet the love of my life tonight. I met her last month in Egypt, and she's also, Mary Morrissey does these pilgrimages every year. I just happened to pick the one that was in Egypt this year. And that was an amazing experience that I obviously don't have the time to talk about here. But let's just say there was a lot of clearing that happened that allowed for these opportunities to come into play. And so for me, I had to ask myself originally when I was first looking at how important is it for me to live a life I absolutely love. And back then I said, it is very important, and I'm willing to invest in myself. And since having invested in myself, my bank account is 10 to 15 times bigger than it ever has after all my investments. And so it really taught me that this universe is here to support us, and everything out here is a form of feedback. And so if we have feedback that is showing us blocks and barriers, that's a good thing. And one thing that I'm able to convey in a very empowered way is to teach people how to deal with paradigms, the limiting belief systems. I can do that because I had a whole scat of them I had to deal with myself first. And so I know what most of them are. And so that's where I come from with this. I want to support people in moving into a life they absolutely love, because ultimately it would allow them to give their gift to the planet that they came here to give. And when we can get more people giving their gift to the planet, we have a transformed planet. So there's that piece. And there's something else that I do as well. But do you have any questions about this as far as what I do?
No, I think that's awesome. So people will be able to find you at the Expo. And what are your kind of expectations, or what would you like to see as an outcome of being a part of this event?
Creating more awareness, supporting people in having that awareness. Awareness is the key to everything. And if we can support other people to move into an expansive state of consciousness, then again, ultimately, it's going to affect the planet, of which we're all stewards of. And that moves me into the other thing I'm doing at my booth, which is sharing information about geoengineering, which is a very real concern that is going on. There's absolute proof of it. Geoengineering is another way of saying solar radiation management, where they spray the sky with heavy metals to reflect the sun's rays back into space. I'm concerned about it because I'm a scuba diver, and I was out in Hawaii last month having a joyful time with dolphins and noticing that a lot of the reefs are starting to dwindle. They're starting to get bleached out. And statistics are right now over 50% of them on the planet are dead. 90% of the Great Barrier Reef is dead. Half of the plankton preserves on the planet are gone, which is the bottom line food source and the oxygen creating source for the planet. So, I come from a place of being very solution oriented, but in order to create really good solutions, you have to know what the entire problem is. So I don't have any fear delving into this, even though a lot of people don't like to tread on that. There's gag orders for the weathermen to even talk about it right now. 2015, it's against the law for them to talk about this. And a lot of the other organizations know that if they step out of line with not going with the status quo of what's to be communicated, they could be in big trouble. So it's going to be us who are the people that live on this planet that need to step in to be stewards of the planet. And so that's what I do, is I create awareness with that. So I'll have materials there at the booth to share with people and to let them know how they can get connected. Geoengineeringwatch.org is the best site to get the science-based evidence of what I'm talking about here, because we need to be credible. And to be credible, you have to come from science. This is what's going on, these are the statistics, and this is what we can do. So that's the other piece as a life coach, that I want to just create more awareness in all areas, one's life, and also the importance of the planet that we live on, because it's a moot point to live a life of love if the planet that we live on is pretty much hashed. So I do both.
Awesome. So the expo is April 28th, coming up really soon, in about 20 days from now, 2021. So go online to the Empower You Expo .com website and get your tickets, or get them at the door and stop in and say hi to Phil.
Yeah, and if you want to check my website, visionsunlimited.co, not com, it's co, visionsunlimited.co, and it shows you the different things that are offered to support people investing in themselves so that they can move to that place of living a life they absolutely love.
Very cool. All right. Well, thank you, Phil.
Hey, thanks, Tina.